Welcome to the Kingdom Hairstylist podcast. This is your host, Billie Jean. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Kingdom Hairstylist Podcast. This is episode 66. I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. It wasn't really eventful. It was more so relaxing and, just cleaning up and running errands and doing those kinds of motherly and wife duties. But I won't complain. It was great. I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend as well. I pray that you guys did some fun things, and if you didn't, hopefully you'll have something to do this weekend, even if it's just spending time with your family at home or, game night or something. I don't know. But anyway, I won't keep you guys long today. This episode will not be long because it's just straight to the point. I've been doing some, work on myself as far as learning how to be more forgiving. And I did an episode last week about it, so I won't talk much about that. But as I was doing the work of being more forgiving, I did an exercise that allowed me to look at myself as a friend, just to see like what it is that I need to do better at, or how I can just be a better person to those that I love or those that I call a friend. So anyway, I also have been studying the book of Job. So I read the book of Job, and it's a long book, but when I say it's just very, very good, it is. It's very good. It's very powerful. And it's just amazing how much he endured and things that he went through. But the reason I brought up the book of Job is because as I was reading it, I was reminded that Job also had 3 friends that God was not pleased with. God did not like the way that they encouraged him when he was going through all that he was going through. And it just made me put a magnifying glass up to my life to say, well, how do I encourage people, especially my close friends, when they come to me with their problems, or if they come to me with their fears, or anything like that. And I've always been known to be the friend that encourages people. I've always been known to be the friend that will, give you some type of encouragement from the Lord. I just always had that wisdom. I thank God for the wisdom. It's not, a lot of times I don't even know where this stuff comes from that I say, but it's just good and it comes out, and I guess it's coming from God, So anyway, his friends just didn't do a good job. If you don't know the story of Job, I'm just going to do like a real quick recap, but I just encourage you to read it on your own because it's just so good. But he went through a lot. Job was rich. Job had a lot of cattle and sheep and everything. He had a lot of children. He was blameless in the Lord's sight. Like, he was such a good person. He had a great relationship with God. And God loved him so much that when the devil came to God and said that he was pacing the earth back and forth looking for somebody he could mess with or tempt, God was like, well, have you considered my servant Job? Because he just knew Job wasn't going to fall for the enemy's tricks. But anyway, what ended up happening is Job did end up getting, stressed out, which I don't blame Job, because Job went through a lot. I mean, the devil had all his children killed. He had his cattle killed, his sheep, everything. Like, basically he lost everything. He had nothing. He was left with nothing. So that's hard to endure. And so we've been there where we've lost something or someone, and we've been through some tough times, and we do tend to blame God, or we get upset, or we just don't know what to do, or we don't know who to blame. Sometimes we handle it the right way, and then sometimes we handle it the wrong way. But in Job's case, he tried not to handle it. Like the first time when he lost, the cattle and the children and all of that, he handled it pretty well from my perspective. And then when he got the deadly disease was when he was just like, okay, that's it. Okay, God, I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening here. Why are you messing with me? Like, I do everything right. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't, I love you. I trust you. I tell everybody about you. And it seemed like I'm just going through the worst right now. So he had real feelings. Like we all have real feelings. But it just reminded me when his friends came to visit him, They sat with him for 7 days and they said nothing. Everybody was just sitting around like, I guess they was waiting for him to talk, or they didn't really know what to say or how to encourage him. And sometimes we've been there, when one of our friends lose someone, a loved one, or break up with somebody, and we really don't have all the words to give them at that moment. So we'll just sit there. But what happens is, what we should be doing rather is praying and asking God to give us wisdom, to give us the right words to say. So a lot of times we don't pray before we speak, and then we just make it worse. Just to give you an example, I have a friend that, is very fearful of all this pandemic stuff that's going on. And she'll text me just so panicked. And my responses are just so calm. And it's not that I don't care about her feelings or I don't care about how she feels. It's just that as I grow my relationship with God, I realize that we are not to be fearful. He never gave us that spirit. So whenever we're feeling like that, it's definitely from the devil. And it also tells me that she's watching too much of the news, because the news definitely wants you to be scared. They are giving us all these false prophecies all the time, and just cannot always watch the news and keep on watching social media to see what they say about the pandemic. So we can't come into agreement with all that we hear. So when people say, oh, it's going to be a second wave or this or that, okay, we don't know that. That's just what the news is telling us. But we should pray about all this stuff. We should pray Psalms 91 over our lives, rebuking all of that stuff, that no deadly diseases should come our way or any of that kind of stuff. And that God is going to cover us no matter what it seems like or whatever the media makes it seems like. We still have to, just believe in God and trust in God. And we can have real feelings like that. We can be scared. If we are scared, we definitely need to pray. But I'm not going to be the friend that adds to your scariness. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be the one to be like, yes, girl, yeah, because it is going to get worse. And and we should do this. No, I'm not agreeing with none of that. I'm going to rebuke it. So I titled this message, Be a Better Friend, because we are always to be witnesses of God. We should witness God's goodness and grace and mercy and everything that He's done in our lives. And we are not God, so we don't know what's coming around the corner. We didn't even see this coming. So therefore, we can't just come into agreement with that stuff. We should be trying to rebuke it. We should be praying against it. We should be asking God how to speak to our friends when they call us with problems and things like that. We shouldn't just jump in on the bandwagon with whatever they're saying. We should encourage them. Yes, we definitely should encourage them and give them as much peace as we can give them. But don't come in agreement with the things that they're saying all the time, because it's not always true. And we really don't know what God has for us. But I know one thing, I'm going to be praying against it. I'm not going to be coming into agreement with it. So I basically just pray for my friend. And as I've been praying for her, I see a shift. And everything won't happen fast or immediately. Sometimes it will, because God is good. I can't take that from Him either. Some things can happen suddenly. But just be in hopes of it happening, and be in hopes of it happening well and the right way. And you just be a good friend no matter what. Be a better friend. So just look at your life and see how you respond to things and respond to your friends when they're going through, and just tell yourself that you're going to be a better friend. So that is all that I have to say this week. I just want you guys to go back and read Job. You will find that God was upset with them, the 3 friends that came at the end of the book of Job. He tells them, he says, I'm really upset with the way that y'all basically talked about me. It wasn't accurate. And Job is my servant. He's the one that knows exactly who I am and what I can do. So yeah, it's okay to be down and sad with your friends, but you also know who God is, and you are the witness to that. Even in the salon, when your salon friends say to you, oh, well, I'm having a slow week, don't come into agreement with that. Encourage your friend to pray for more clients, to pray for more well-paying clients, to give the stylist friend some patience. Ask God to give them patience. Don't come into agreement with those things, because you don't want to speak those word curses over your life, and say you have a slow week. You want to say, I'm doing well, I'm prosperous, and God is providing for me, and He provides all my needs, whether I'm slow, busy, or whatever. Just be content with wherever you are at that moment. So I love you guys, and I will talk back with you guys next week. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I just pray that you all are going to take this and really, really think about how you are responding to your friends. Have a good one.